Had a long 3 days at work. I did get over here and do a sketch at one point in time. I think it was at late at night, and I ended up getting Australia, which was fun. I haven't got Australia ever, but I enjoyed it. And I got 3 rose sketches I have to do for, I don't have to, but I promised 3 of my residents that I would. And when I say something, I do it. But here is my cards. I'm going to put those over here. And I'm going to do these rose sketches, at least one of them. I probably got enough power from one stream on my phone. And after that, I am going to charge it and relax. These are my plans for the day. Relaxing. I've had long, crazy 3 days. My work is blowing up my phone, and I can't do it with them. And instead of just doing one rose, I'm gonna do like a little rose garden. There's 3, 4, 5 of these babies, so probably looking at an hour stream, which is okay. All right, I'm gonna start here. When I get some more people, I'll show you what I am using my base from to try to see where to place my flowers at. I always look on Google because every artist has to look to see, because you got to see how you want to begin to sketch it. Because sketch artists, this is what we do. We look at images and you have to portray them the best you can, and sometimes you change the image once you get your basic image down. Because it is. Even though my mother-in-law says it's cheating, it really is not. I'm here to tell you this is not cheating. People look at a tree and they paint it. We see things, but sometimes when you're sketching it freehand like this, you got to get an idea of how you're going to start your sketch. So, but she's a very hard nut to crack sometimes. But this is how most sketch artists do these things. And all 3 of my residents, except for one, want red roses. Oh, I have 2 people. Oh, hello. How are you? I'll show you the sketch that I was doing. I flipped the camera over when I find these here. This is what I'm drawing to get an idea of how I want to place these, but they're not all going to be there because the residents want red. So this is what I do to make people happy. And honestly, sometimes when you're stuck somewhere and you're so sick you're never going to leave the hospital, that's how it is sometimes. Honestly. This, I guess that's a red. So I try to give them things in their bedrooms, since for my permanent residents, cuz I feel it gives them a little happiness and something to look at. And I feel you should spread love as much as you can, because this could be you one day sitting in that hospital bed. And I guess that's why I'm so humbled in life. Is this a question? I am doing tarot cards reading. For God so loved the world that the that he gave his one and only son, Yes, that is. But I believe that we all have eternal life. And we all have the possibility of eternal life. Because if you think about it, we are, yeah, I work at it's a rehab center, and it's also a place that you could stay permanently. It's a nursing home rehab center. But I believe that if we all follow in the vision of good, that it's a message that the Bible portrays, that we all can have eternal life and come back again and again in a positive way if we go in that path. If you think about it, I went to Catholic school and I studied the Bible extensively because that's what we did in Roman Catholic schools. And the Bible does state that, yes, but I've been told by many priests and many nuns that we all can achieve eternal life. But the key to achieving eternal life is giving a piece of yourself and sacrificing your time for the sake of good. And I didn't agree with maybe all of the practices of Roman Catholic, but that I did. And I vibe with it because why would one person only get eternal life and no one else? And it makes sense. It really does. And it serves, and it's put in the Bible for an example for us to live a better life, to maybe try to achieve in death and rebirth and make the world a better place. And that's why Jesus came down for an example. So, my friend, we could all have eternal life, but you have to really, really walk in that path. And to walk in that path is to walk in the path of righteousness. And to walk in the path of righteousness, that's why they are in the Roman Catholic faith. There are saints and prophets. And these saints and prophets in death, like Mother Teresa and everyone else, will always have eternal life. And they will always be blessed in the next life and the next life over. If you get what you give. And that is how things are. But if you sit there and let's say you murder and the Bible doesn't state self-defense. If you maliciously murder somebody and then cover it up and then think it's really cool that you murdered somebody, blah blah blah, but you lied about it and everybody believes you and yada yada yada, like, I don't know, like the mob and all those people kind of do, that does not lead to eternal life. Not at all. If you blackmail somebody to murder against their own will and they pray and you maliciously say, well, I didn't do it, so it's not my sin. I was told by many priests and many nuns, this is not a sin. That sin is bestowed upon the person that blackmailed you. So, from what I'm standing with these different mobs and stuff, how they go to church and they have all these people they blackmail and murder, they have the sins of all the people that they sent out to be murdered for the slaughter. And then when they influence other people for the slaughter, it counts too. Your sins are gathered up with that also. And I agreed with them with that because that makes sense. Because if you literally have somebody's wife or husband and you have them held captive and you're sending them videos of you torturing them or whatnot, which is a practice that the mob and all these people do. If you have them there and they're looking at a nice family and you're saying kill them, and you have and they're literally slicing and dicing your wife, and your wife is screaming, and they happen to kill that person because of your evil act, you're responsible for that sin, not that person. So that's why in these governments and stuff, they send out people like snipers and different stuff. Every government has it, just not America. Every single government has this, my friends. Everyone. And anyways, when these people are sent out for the slaughter and sent out to kill people, it bestows on the person that did that actually executed the act to make it a sin. And I was told this by a lot of priests, and they are very wise, very wise. And that's why I try to stay, my friends, on the positive side, because I was told going through Catholic school, as long as I kept a happy perspective and I tried to spread love, that I would always be in God's favor. And I'm not trying to be mean to people because I don't think it's the way that God wanted it to be. Because these are things that shouldn't really be allowed. But it is in today's society, but you got to stay on the side of good. If you don't stay on the side of good, these are the things that happen. And here's my first rose. I have been practicing roses for a fat minute, so this is the reason they are looking good for about 6 months in. When I ask my residents what they would like, this is what comes out of their mouth: red roses or roses. So I'm going to be good at this kind of thing. But anyways, but yeah, I do know a lot about the Bible. I do know the history of the Bible. I took theology and I studied the God, I'm trying to think of it. It's one of the first Bibles, and it was, well, besides the Dead Sea Scrolls, there was the Gigas. It's like I forgot what is in Latin. Oh my God, it's like, oh my, I can't think of the Bible, but there was a Bible that's been like put through hands and even it's been through fires, and they have saved it. A monk wrote it. It's Giga something. It's here on YouTube. And this Bible was written by a monk. He literally, and it was through Catholic history. And and it was said that this monk, he spent his existence because he was enlightened by God, and he was just writing this book, the Bible that he seen, and the monks just brought him food and all that, and he did, his business like he was supposed to, he's a human being. And anyways, I'm drawing this for my residents. They all want roses. I'm using this base and making them all red. I'm trying to do like 5, like a rose garden. I got this so far. But yeah, in this book that was written in obviously Old English, obviously, because it was 1300, there was illustrations, and they call it the Devil's Bible because it shows the duality of good and evil. And really kind of fascinates me when people talk about the duality of good and bad, and then all of a sudden when it says if the duality, I do know this from priests and nuns. I extensively had a lot of studies in this through high school and everything. It states the fault is when you force upon evil upon someone else in dark acts. And it is powerful words. That's why I am all about free will. And they say, today on Facebook, I say God is free will, but you take the freedom of expression away. And they said God is not about free will. And I said, God is absolutely about free will. We are not about free will. We're not. When my son went to the Navy, they told me he really wanted to go. I did not want him to go to the Navy. Did not want him to go. I said it was the worst mistake ever. He wanted to be a soldier. He became an American soldier. It was his choice. I do not believe in the military because they told me when he had his inauguration and everything, and because they twirl around guns and stuff, and we went to Chicago, they told me that my son was their property. And I said, we are no one's property. I was like, we belong to God. I almost got kicked off of the Navy's thing. They wanted, and then I argued with the sergeant. And because I argued with him, because he was me, and I wanted me and my son to have a last meal together. And we were going to go bring him to a wing place and and do what we need would it. And I wanted to say goodbye to my son. He told me that he was not that was his property, and he would do what he wanted to do with my son from that day forth. I argued with this military sergeant. I didn't give a damn about his authority because, in my eyes, the only authority around here is the one and only, the Creator, God. And God didn't sit there and say my son needed to protect papers and murder people. So we're arguing, me and this damn sergeant, and I told him to go ahead and arrest me. My husband literally sat there and talked to the military a-hole, and we got off the property, and they told us to wait a minute. They got somebody else to watch those papers, but this is why I can't, a lot of times, don't like their practices. We need someone to protect the country, but they are there of their own free will. They are not there. They are not their property. They never will be their property. They didn't create them. I didn't create my son. I was a vessel for him, yes, but I didn't even create him. I don't even take credit for creating my son. It was God that gave him life. It was the Creator. And this is just true facts. And you have to literally deal with true facts, and you got to deal with and be humble that you're not the most important person in the world. And I tell you, these army sergeants and stuff, they think that they are the most important person in the world. And I am here to tell them they're not. But yeah, I almost got arrested. My husband literally talked to him, and I guess because I was his mother, and my husband and him had a heart to heart. I did not get arrested that day, which I was all fully ready to get arrested for the sake of free will. But I did not. But this world is full of people that think this. And I feel that if the military and different people actually was a lot nicer about that and did not sit there and say that they owned you, it would be better. And I have nothing against military. I think they're great. I think we need them, but I think they should be more respected as, for one, not saying their property. I'm not property. I'm a person. My dog is not property. He's a living being. That's why I don't like when people say, you own your dog. I don't own my dog. I did not make my dog. My dog was made from creation. Me and my dog chose me. Simple as that. I was just meant, we were just meant it to be together in this life. That's it. I do not own. I mean, for the sake of saying, I guess I own him just to protect him from people. I say I own him, but you don't own anything. You don't own your animals. You really don't even own your house if you think about it. Because my folks, when you die, I've seen it many times in the nursing home and skilled in our skilled part. When you die, your stuff, literally your family members will come in, go through your stuff, go through your bank accounts. And if you got enough money, you're gonna have a nice funeral. That you will. You'll have a great funeral. Yeah, you can ask a Tara question. That's why I'm over here. I do live chat too. My exam. You're welcome. See, keep those positive vibes going and exams go well. But yeah, I hate when people say they own things. Hate it. You don't own your own house, and money is something of a human thing. Money means nothing. It's just currency. Before we had money, we had the barter system. And the barter system was, I have some potatoes. I got a whole shitload of potatoes. Do you have meat? And people exchange things. And then, it was an equal system. And that's how it was in ancient times. They said, and then if one person had some, they gave another person, and yada, yada, yada. And then came currency, which isn't the most horrible idea, but if you use it against people, then it becomes horrible. So even money doesn't matter, because when you die, your money gets stripped from you, and your families, you're gonna have your greedy ones and your non-greedy ones. They take it, and then everybody forget. And if you have good family members, they remember you, but most of the time they don't, and they'll say, "Oh, I love my dad," blah blah blah. But I got this. I bought a car. I got his house. Blah blah blah. So that's why I say, while you're still alive, try to take your breaths. Use your time to spread good. Because none of this means nothing. So I feel that I like art because I create it. And I feel it brings people happiness. And I will never charge anybody for it. I give it away. I'm giving these drawings away to residents that have nothing, where their families took everything from them. Everything. And the only sometimes things they get is things I bring them. Their family members won't even bring them perfume sometimes. And then I've had one family member say people steal their body spray. They go through their perfume too quick. I have so many different bath and bodies. I just bring the damn things in and give it to them. I do. If they want snacks and their family members say they're eating too much, I go to the dollar store and buy them food. Because people in this world, they don't care about a lot of times about their family members, and they get absorbed with greed about how they want that coat that's like, I don't know, a bunch of money. They got a whatever designer coat. And it's like, okay, you got the designer coat, but your mom in the nursing home is suffering, and the nursing staff's buying stuff for your mom, and you got a $5,000 coat. Congratulations, you're the a-hole of the day. This is what happens in the world, and this is why I can't do people a lot. Not the bad people. And there's a lot of bad, greedy people out there. A lot. And I know I'm probably not the most popular because I tell the truth in the world, but I don't seem to care. If I got to be unpopular because I like, I didn't see your question. Let me look. But yeah, if I gotta not be popular because I tell the truth, then I won't be popular. So, what do women find attractive about me physically? Well, that's not a question for the spirits because of that, but I will tell you, I have taken a lot of psychology, Devin. Okay. This is not a tarot. Okay, that's not true. I wrote a paper when I was in college about this, about human sexuality and what you find, attractive in that. Women find, generally, men are more physical. Women, because I've studied the brain extensively. A woman's brain, they're looking for security. And they do. I mean, these days, women are looking for the inner. That's why there's so many smut books. When I went to go write my book, Devin, I had to find out, how to write a love scene. I'm a horror writer, laugh out loud. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to write a love scene. And I did study this extensively, and I have done papers of what attracts us, and it's pheromones, friends. But a lot of times it's pheromones and it's the environment. And depending on what the women want, a lot of times, women these days are more about money. So you got to be careful with them. They're very toxic. And it's a society thing. Beyond pheromones, society will condition people to think certain things. And that's how that goes, unfortunately. And it's terrible. And I think women should not do this, but they do. And, anyways, with the social issue, when you do get with somebody, a lot of times they get very possessive. Very possessive. And you have that syndrome. And that's because women are insecure and they want to be on top. And a lot of times it was the men when I was younger that were very, very mean, and they would just cheat on you and do all these things because men were the more dominant in society. So I became a man hater when I was younger, friends. I really had. I I did not hardly sleep with people because the good looking guys, they usually were the biggest a-holes going out. But now it's a lot of times the women, Devin, and you gotta be careful. This is what they do, especially the younger ones. I see them, I work with these ladies, and I always tell them, do you not know what you're doing? And That's what they do. So I would literally, I would try to, when you meet somebody, don't put your whole heart into it. And a lot of times women will use you for sex. They'll use you for sex and then they'll turn around and they will try to use you to see what they can get out of you and manipulate you. So I have found that out through I'm 50 and I train a lot of people at work. And these people I train are very attractive people between 18 and 35 to 40. Very attractive ladies. And, women talk because, obviously they don't want to sleep with me. I don't want to sleep with them. So I get the other side. And these are the responses I get. And I will tell you, because I don't lie. Even if it means me getting in trouble. One time I made a mistake at work and I admitted to my boss I did it. And she looked at me and I never got written up because they know I don't lie. But yeah, there was one girl that was sleeping with three different guys. Three different guys. All these guys were actually nice guys. And she would just manipulate them. And she had them thinking one thing or another. And she was proud of herself about it. And she took them for all they had. And she had them so manipulated, it was insane. And I told her that these are bad practices. And she told me she didn't care. That's what she does. She says they want to see it, they go and pay for it. And she done it so subtly. So subtly. It was crazy. And she had like 3, 4 kids. And I'm just like, wow. I would go the other route and I would actually step back, meet a bunch of girls. And if you do have any kind of money or monetary things, do not tell them you have money. Do not. Do not go buy them a bunch of stuff. Find out who they are on the inside. Because women these days are terrible. Because society tells you this. In every rap video, you have these rap stars and everything. They're going around with these women slapping their butts and they're sleeping with the rapper and they're dancing and this and that. And they're used to, society says, if you dance around and sleep with them, you get their money. That's the message that's being given out. And people are responding to it. And no one looks at the inner. And they will have a relationship with you, yeah. They will lie to you. They will say they love you, but they really don't. You really got to dig deep to try to find that one. I mean, it's sad to say as a woman because I was a man hater. I was a chauvinist because men were terrible. Now men are in the position that women used to be in. So I guess I side with men more than women now, which is crazy. I think I'm going to live a whole century and see a whole turnover. I think I have. Who knows? It looks like it. But yeah, Devin, be careful. I would just, my advice to you about all that, hit it, quit it, use your condoms. And if the girls, maybe if you have a job or whatever, be careful, if how much they're asking from you. Be careful about that too. That's a trap. That is a trap. Don't tell them you have any money. Don't tell them you're rich. You just tell them you work and say you make a moderate limit living. Don't be flashy with your clothes. Don't. If they see you got flashy clothes, they're going to ask you for more. Because that's what these girls at my work do. And they're very beautiful women. And that's how they treat men. And these are respected professionals, but this is how society has conditioned the young ladies of this generation. And it's very sad. And it makes me want to apologize to all the men I've told off when I was younger. And guys are realizing this. They absolutely are. Absolutely. This is why there's Tinder. This is why they will just up and leave you. And this is the how these things are going about. So that's what I would do. Hit it and quit it. Do not give them anything. Don't get too involved. I would not even, I would have a couple. I really would if it was me. I would have a couple on standpoint if it was me. And this way, just say, you know what? I date several people. Just be like, I'm shopping around. I'm seeing if you're the one, because in the first year you find out when somebody's real bad or someone's real good. And that's your honeymoon stage. It quick then and go back to my day. Oh, well, thank you. Oh, yeah. I have two boys. I understand, and I work with all these women, and I'm not overly religious. I'm not. I'm a realist. Realist. My sons went on Tinder, and my sons would tell them I'll get you a Lyft or a Uber when they, were in their 18, 19s and their teens. They hit it, quit it. And when they got, like, we're talking about, you give me this and I'll go out with you, they said, I already got what I wanted, and then left. It took my son till he was 30 to find his wife. But yeah, and then, you could just, I occupy myself with other things. Life is worth, there's a lot else going on in this world than that. And I promise you, Devin, that when the universe wants you to have a baby, somebody good will appear. Because I ignored men altogether when I was younger. These people just appeared to me, and the spirits was like, time for you to have a baby. And I was like, well, I'm not dating nobody. And I went about my day and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, somebody appeared. When it's your time to have a kid, you're going to meet the right person. And the universe brings you the right person at that time. If you're too impatient, this is when the universe did not send you this person. This is just some random person that wants someone to pay for them. And I tell people, I'm like, it's what you're doing is not right, and it's going to bite you in the ass. And it does. It bites them in the ass. And then another thing, what they like to do is they like to get pregnant, and they like to take your money. Because I have had friends, and I say, why did you even bother having kids if you didn't care about the person? They said, well, you're going to have a kid anyway, so this way, if you have their kid, you can get half their income if they got enough. And this is the mindset. This is how it goes. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Don't have that kid until the universe sends you the one you and how I knew it was the person that I was supposed to have was because I just had a connection with them, and I met them in the weirdest way. I really did. It was just like some random coincidence, and I was just somewhere, and it was a deja vu. And I was like, okay, who are you? And and we just talked, and then before I knew it, it was, I don't know, it wasn't love at first sight, but it was that connection I felt. And that's how it all happened for me, but twice. And the only reason that I'm on the second marriage is because he was an alcoholic. We had 2 kids, and I still don't dislike him. I don't. It's just it took him a long time to get help, a long time. But I still love him to this day. And the new husband knows I love him, and he's not jealous about it. I just love changes, Devin. And when you're young, I guess when you're young, it's like a major big deal, and you don't realize, and you think it's never gonna happen. And I thought the same way when I was younger. I really, really did. But I mean, me and my ex-husband, if we were in the same room, I could sit next to him, and we're cool. And I do love him, and I always will love him. He's the father of my children. But I don't ever want to sleep with him again. And he doesn't want to sleep with me. And I told him that, I really wish that you could find somebody that you love. I'm actually would be his wingman. If I even tried to be his wingman, but I guess it was too weird for him. Because the love changes. When you love someone, you love someone when you have a connection. And even if you guys break up and you mess up, everybody messes up. Everybody. But yeah, you will find somebody. Everybody does. Everybody's meant to reproduce and at certain times. Just let it happen. But you got things to do in your life. We all do. I got to spread peace. I got to help these dogs. I got things I got to do that's way more important than my personal happiness right now. And my personal happiness is these dogs being taken care of. And my dream that everybody should have a mutual respect for life and animals and people in general. And this is my dream. And I got about 30 years to get my dream out there. 30 years. So I don't have that much time. So I've never really, I guess you could say, never really worried about things like that, because I felt that it really wasn't that important. Because when the universe wants you to have a kid, if you like it or not, you're having that damn kid. You're going to meet that one person that you really vibe with, and the universe is going to make sure it happens. And not for your own personal happiness. Oh, no. It is because it's meant to be. And I used to think when I was younger this was bullshit. I really did. And I'm not lying to you, I did. I don't lie. But as I got older, I realized the universe, even though we try to fight it, they're in charge. The higher ups up there, God and his people, and whatever you want to believe, the energy, God, or whatever, they're in charge of destiny. They're in charge of us. They're in charge of what needs to happen, and they make a way for it to happen, because if it needs to happen for a cycle, it needs to happen. Some people are meant not to have any relationship. Laugh out loud. There's some people on this earth that's meant just to be holy people. And that's it. That's a calling. Some people are just meant to be priests or meant to be nuns. And that's the God's honest truth. And you know what? I would never make fun of those people. Some people do. But that's how things are sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with it, because if, that monk didn't write what they refer to as the Devil's Bible, the Gigas book, we would never know about duality. I think it was 1300s or maybe or 720 AD, something like that. It weighs like 350 pounds, this damn book. I have never, ever heard of a book that weighed that much. But the illustrations, I mean, you guys think my stuff is amazing sometimes. This monk, I mean, look it up. It's they call it the Devil's Bible, but I don't understand when it was written by a monk. But we're talking about Catholics, so that's everything could be the devil when you're dealing with them. But it's 350 pounds, and he had amazing pictures. I don't know. I would have to. I think like the paint they made had a lot to do with like plants and herbs, but it's painted too. It's painted in a lot of and it's gorgeous. And because it has one picture of that represents the devil, it became known as the Devil's Bible, and this intrigued me. I was like, really? I go, why would the Devil's Bible be this controversial and put in museums and everything and held through like there was different rulers in Scotland and stuff at this time. And they saved the Devil's Bible, and if it was that important and all these libraries burned in this one book that this monk spent his entire existence doing, why did it get saved? But that's what it was, to represent the duality of God. And he had amazing pictures, amazing. But I mean, I would love to be able to see it, but you would have to be really, really important. Just like I would love to get in Vatican City. Love to. I would love to go to Rome and get in Vatican City and get in their library. I'm a writer. I've been writing since I was 10 years old. I love books. And I tell you, that damn Vatican City, because I'm a pedigree from Roman Catholic faith, they have the most amazing bones. And for some reason, and I'm a Catholic saying this, they collect bones from people. And it was written in Roseline and just different books all through the years. And they say a lot of it was sometimes, there was a little Satanism involved. Because sometimes there was ritualistic ceremonies, like their exorcism ceremony. That was very, very interesting. Because they're one of the only faiths that invoke a dark entity into them for the ceremony. And it's like, okay, we know, I don't know, Bob, the little boy Bobby has a bunch of demons in him. Okay, you go to do the ceremony. Why would you invoke it to you? Why wouldn't you put it in a crystal or expel it or get rid of it? All through Roman Catholic history. These guys, it's like, thanks for taking my demon, but you gave him another vessel. If you choose to believe this. This intrigued me as a writer. Intrigued me. And I've always been baffled. And maybe one day I can get popular enough and me and Chong can be in the Vatican City Library. They have stuff from ancient Egypt, the Dark Ages. Because when all these things went down through history, Rome took a lot of these artifacts, and that's where they're at. They're right in Vatican City, right in our nose. They're not in libraries. They're literally sitting there. Oh, you're welcome. So, I don't know, but one of these days, Chong the dog would like to be there, but I'm not that high profile person. I don't think hardly anyone is. They don't trust anybody in Vatican City. Nobody. They got all this stuff under lock and key, and they say that why would you keep someone's dead bones? And I get these guys were saints, they got the bones of St. Peter. And right after Jesus' crucifixion, they went through all the Roman artifacts and they were trying to get Jesus' bones. The only thing I know, honestly, and I'm being honest, is there's dark rituals that require bodies. And the only thing I can think of they would need that for would be for a dark ceremony. And then they say the dark pope and the dark ages, that he burned books, burned witches, and really they were not witches. They were just people that they didn't like. They would say, "Oh, my wife cheated on me," or something like that. So, and then they would say, "Oh, you're a witch." And they would have her burned or drowned or this or that, and everybody would look and laugh. And this was the Roman Catholic Church that did this. They fed people to lions. That's how they got huge. Like, if you were, like, let's say they took over a territory, blah, blah, blah. They say, "You're Roman Catholic, or we're feeding you to lions." And we're talking Protestants, Muslims, different faiths. And it's like, are you really a believer if you were forced to have your family being eaten by lions to live? And these are the kind of people we talking about. I mean, now I think the Vatican City is a lot more liberal, but the dark history, oh boy, it's one big damn horror book. But I don't regret going to Catholic school because I'm a horror writer. Some of the best material for a horror book is Roman Catholic stuff. It really is. It's a very old religion, and it's fading out. I mean, it's probably going to be around for a long time still. All right, here's the first rose sketch for my first resident. But I'm not against them because there are good Roman Catholics also out there, and they don't understand all the history and they have not researched it, and they believe everything how everybody twists everything. They really do. But honestly, I like every religion because it's positive and it says a positive message. Positive messages. This is the reason that there is religion. Because God has to get his message out. How the hell you going to get your message out if you have no one to deliver it? And he has a lot of different ways to deliver this message, and it has to be through us. It has to, because who else? I mean, animals can't do it. The bear that lives in the mountain can't do it. So obviously it has to be us. I mean, Roman Catholics probably hate me at this point, but that's okay. I just see the duality in what they're doing, and my mother was Roman Catholic, so I would never separate myself in that way, in that fashion, because of this, out of respect for my mother, because there's a lot of positiveness about it, and I think there could be reform in it. I really do. I do. I think it's a good idea. But I honestly, I take the tips when I do sketch paintings. I know people get confused with this, but I take the end, like I just did this with these pastels. You use your pastel. Don't use a pencil. You cannot get these good lines with pencils. Pencils, they don't do these things justice. This is why I go on Amazon and get these. But I do the tip. See, I got that tip and it pops out. And I got acrylic markers, and they're not overly expensive. And you don't need to use a lot of them if you shade enough with the pastels in the middle. You don't want to take away the beauty of your sketch. But yeah, I believe if there was reforms in Roman Catholic where you're not protecting dead people's parts. I mean, yeah, I do have my cat's ashes that passed away. I get it because he was my beloved pet, but I would not try to have the ashes of a prophet in a catacombs right under Vatican City. That's just something straight out of a horror book. Who does this? I mean, that's just my question of the day. Who does this stuff? And who thought this was a good idea? That's my question. Who really thought this through? It was a good idea. And I'm not saying exorcisms. Yeah, you can ask a question. My cards are right here. And I'm not saying exorcisms are bad. I'm not. It's a great idea. Do it with a crystal. Say, they got all that faith. I get it. You got faith. Do it with but don't invoke that damn demon into you. Invoke it to a crystal, put salt on it, and bury it. And then no one else got to be infected by that damn demon. It's just going to move from person to person, and it's never going away. But you got all these priests invoking. And they don't do exorcisms no more. They actually go get a doctor now, which is good. But I think there are some people that still do exorcisms, but it's hush hush in the Catholic religion. So I don't know. But like I said, I'm a very curious person. And I'm pleased to say they found, I think it's Proximius b in a dwarf galaxy. It has water, and it's, I guess, close to us. I forgot how many light years from our sun, but it was on here, and for once I was looking at stuff on YouTube and not Facebook. But Proximius b has the capacity for life, and they think there is life. But they're saying they don't think it's sophisticated life because they are near a planet that gives out radiation. But they're saying these dwarf planets do have life. And James Webb found it, my folks. That is. I wish Stephen Hawking was alive. Oh my God, I love Stephen Hawking. I used to always listen to Stephen Hawking and all of his research. Always. I love him. He was the best scientific mind. I think he outdid all the Harvard people, all of them. I don't know, they're all garbage compared to him. That's just my opinion. They're just writing on the stuff that he found. So, I don't know. He was a great pioneer, and rest in peace, Stephen Hawking. You're awesome. I hope you're over there in heaven enjoying everything, and you come back to us to bring us more insight about the world around us. Because he really did. Because we need to find out more about the world around us. Oh, I'm just waiting for your question, friend. Go ahead and put in your tarot question. I'm doing this because over here on YouTube, they want people to have talent. So, this is what I do. I can't exactly start writing books in front of you guys, but I do enjoy sketching. I do find it fun. And I do like to sketch to make people happy for presents because I'm not about to go to the store and buy you nothing. I'm drawing your ass a sketch. When I say I'm giving you a present, it's literally a poster board with a sketch. That's it. That's where I'm at. These are the Christmas presents I gave out and everything. That's why my friends, I tell them to put in their request. Because if I say I'm getting you something, that's what I'm getting you. Stuff I made in live stream. I don't believe in people wasting their money. I did not buy Christmas presents because why should you sit there and spend thousands of dollars on Christmas when Christmas is will break you and Christmas is about love and happiness. If the world was ending, I want to be next to you. Oh, well, thank you. When a rich guy flirts, it's shaming. When poor guy does it, it's creepy. Well, you know what? You got to put aside money, my friend. I have a lot of friends that are spiritualists. I never thought I would be. I don't even barely get out. Honestly, I deal with coyotes. And I'm being honest. I deal with coyotes all the time. It's just that I just run into people. I guess it's a small community, but money means nothing. And I'm here to say this: it's the person inside. If you're that consumed about sex, and that's the only thing you're after, you're very don't care about humanity. You don't care about the universal balance. And that's just how it is. It's a connection when you sleep with somebody. That's why I don't like to sleep with a lot of people because it's a connection and that's why you feel horrible afterwards when a person's using you. That's the exact reason. Because you feel it because everybody has some kind of duality or spirituality to them because we're spiritual creatures and that's how that happens. So, and some people they tolerate it, some people don't. So I guess I get it, but it should be that that person, it's not so much that they were rich, it's the point that they were doing it shamefully that really matters. You should not shame another person. It's ungodly to do these kind of practices. And sometimes when your markers, just a side note here, are going bad or running out of markers when you're a sketch artist, that could actually go to your advantage. See how this marker kind of, even though it wasn't at full capacity, kind of gave a faded outline? It actually looks good with sketch painting, and I've been using these acrylic markers for the end result. But yeah, it's that person was being shameful about it because your inner self told you that he really had no good intentions. And we don't pay attention to our inner self. That's what it comes down to. A lot of people don't pay attention to their inner self. And when you do not pay attention to your inner self, you feel bad. And then something bad happens. I've done things in the past and I had a bad feeling about something and then everybody goes, "Oh, you're just thinking that way for this or that." And I was young and dumb. So okay, maybe. And then I found out why I felt that way when that person was flirting with me or whatever. Your inner self knows. And start listening to your inner self because your inner self guides you to the right direction. And your inner self it knows what you need to be doing and knows your inner purpose. Even though we don't know our inner purpose, that damn inner self does. And I didn't think it did. I question everything. I question the universe. I question everything about reality and everything. I do. I think that there's multi universes because religion and science are so closely related. People don't even realize how close it is. We're actually discovering wormholes now. And you have all these spiritualists out there, which I'm not a spiritualist. I'm just a person on a mission to try to help people. And if there is an end to this world, I'm going out with a bag. Probably a Mountain Dew. And and I'm going to save as many dogs as I can. And then we got here. Man, you didn't do my. You know what? There's so many questions over here, and I was sketching. I am so sorry. Maybe just write it in again. When you're on this end, sometimes it's hard because you get all these different questions. And you know what? I got a moderator on YouTube. There's somebody watching this, and I get a lot of restricted things. I don't know if you guys realize this. I don't know if it's just my stream that it's done. I don't know. But yeah. There was a lot of restricted things, but maybe put it in again, because sometimes when they restrict a question, it's a job. They got jobs. They're listening to the stream as I'm doing it. And some questions let go through. And there was 5 restricted questions. And sometimes they make mistakes. YouTube's not perfect. It's always going to be around. But on the other hand, it's not perfect. And we aren't. And it is what it is. So go ahead and just put it in again. And if the moderator did make a mistake, it's okay. It's all good here. It's all love up in this stream, love and happiness, because I am not trying to be on the other side of badness in this world. So, and then I will answer it because I don't get them all. And maybe it was phrased a different way that somehow YouTube thought was a little different. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of they will restrict like little things, especially when you get a lot of questions in a stream. That's what they do. They restrict questions, and that's their job. Because you get sometimes you get trollers, you get ridiculous questions. And that's their job. And they do their job very well here on YouTube. That's why I actually prefer to be on YouTube. Because you go on these other places, because I don't just live stream here, folks. I'm about ready to blow up on Facebook because I can't even get to my monetization thing because I'm a digital creator. That's why I have so many shorts, because I have videos that I do with Facebook. And this is what I do. I was always a digital creator before I got my live button. So, and over there's no moderator. None at all. You get crazy questions that come through. And I don't know. I go over there anyways because I'm tough skinned and it doesn't really matter to me that much, but that's just how the climate of the world is. But over here, they're nice enough to restrict it for you. And sometimes the questions, you get trollers. I mean, they always, because I'm a Facebook live streaming also. And we get a lot of trollers over there. And they don't have a way of restricting them. Here, yes, they do. They understand. Your stream can't be turned down because somebody has a grievance against you. They got someone that'll watch it. They got someone that'll make sure you're going by community guidelines. And if somebody just wants to be an a-hole or whatever and just wants to get even with you, they cannot shut down your stream, but on Facebook they can. But honestly, they used to try to do that to me before, and they really can't because I don't really even do tarot card readings over there anymore. They don't really ask, but I just do my painting live streams where I do my sketch art, and I'm done. I'm out. And it's just I'm creating a video, and that's it. But I do go through Google and different things because I don't rely on the technologies of Facebook and this and that. I have Google Photos. That's why you guys get all the yesterday throwback to this, and you'll see Chong puppy ears I put out today. And you could create videos from your own footage. And I've been doing that, and now that Elon Musk wanted to buy them, and then they wanted to buy TikTok, and they have all this stuff going, a lot of that technology went out the window. But I never was a part of that technology. I always did Google, so all of my stuff goes through just fine. But I think I can't even, it's like it won't even go through to tell me on my new followers. And I get a bunch of them on Facebook all the time from Instagram and everything. And it's literally just kind of like froze. Like there's so much they gotta go through. So maybe I blew up today. Who knows? I've been doing it like 3 years over there. But here's for the first resident, folks. Maybe I'll give it to the one that's the most depressed. Maybe they need hope. Maybe I'll do like the hope, joy, and then I'll put one happiness. Maybe that's how I'll set up their flowers. But the shading is so important with flowers. This is why you need pastels. You have to have them. If you don't have these good shading tools, it looks like crap. I mean, it looks like a decal. I mean, it won't look horrible, but it's gonna look like a decal. It's not gonna look like an actual rose without pastel. That's it. And I'm thinking about soon, probably in a month or so, buying me another set because I like to buy these ahead of time because I use them all the time. And I like to have fresh new sets. But I was waiting on your question, my friend, because you asked about this. Let me see here if what they did. I'm looking here. What they did here. Alright, I'm not seeing it here on my end. I look on my end, I got all kinds of stuff going on at my end. I got Devin's question. YouTube must like Devin. So, there's a restricted here. I got a couple there, so whatever it was they restricted on, maybe it was accident, I don't know. Whenever I open your live session, I see you only speaking in your own world. Don't care somebody's listing or not. Like I said, my friend, I don't see them, and there was 5 restricted questions. So after completing painting, you use Oh, it's what I'm using on this painting. I did not get your question because it's moderated. And this has nothing to do with me. If YouTube does not like the way you phrased a question, they literally will not put it through to me. And that's the way it is. But yeah, these are acrylic paint markers. I take them just to take this and detail the paintings. And that's what a sketch artist would do to detail their paintings. And they're not expensive. My friend that donated this to me, she only paid $4 for it. Was on this set, I think it was 24. 24 of these were $4. Sometimes you can get them for 6. And like I said, you're using your pastel most of the time, so you should have 24 markers should last you a long while, because you're doing it for fine details. So, but if you guys want, maybe rephrase your question a different way if I didn't get it, and see if YouTube moderators like it, because this is what they do. This is how they can shut down a stream. I've had my page, I don't know if it was accident or whatever, my page was taken down because they said I didn't go by community guidelines, which I couldn't understand because I do try to go by all the community guidelines. I try to keep it upbeat. I don't really like to talk about drugs and things like that because I feel there's enough YouTubers out there talking about it. And we all know they're bad and you're either going to do it or you're not. So, I try to do things different from other people. But, like I said, if you have a question and they restricted it, put it back in if they didn't think it was appropriate for the stream. They're letting other questions go through, so I don't know. You would have to ask YouTube this question. This literally has nothing to do with me. I'm just here to do my paintings and try to raise money for Chong the Dog Help Center. I want to take money from that, and I figured Facebook gave me. I got live cameras all over. I got like 6 pages between Instagram and here, and they gave me live buttons for all of them. So I got 6 live cameras between Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, and here. So you figure 6, 7, 8. So if I get a dog shelter, I'm gonna have my live cameras going all the time. The zoo does it all the time, and that's how they get extra money to help these animals. They live stream their animals. So if I get a community help center, I'm going to have live streams on my animals all the time, and the people will be optional. But this is how people are doing it. That's how they're raising money, and it's smart. It's real smart because this world's cruel sometimes, and people suffer. So that's how organizations are getting their money. Some of them, the zoos are getting their money to help make sure the animals are fed, so they can help other animals. And people will sit there and watch an eagle at 3 o'clock in the morning. They got eagles you could watch in a stream, and you could watch them sleeping and everything. And they're on Facebook and all that, so that's what I plan to do. All my animals are going to have a live stream camera on them. I'm going to buy a big building. Kennels will be in the back. People and offices and apartments for people that need stuff for, like, if they're coming off a domestic and let's say their kids, there's some homeless children and the mother, I don't know, got separated or whatever, they could come to Chong the Dog Help Centers and they could stay there. If I buy a big building, there's a place for the children, and maybe the proper authorities can come get them. Who knows? I don't know. Oh yeah, I do. But yeah, that's the dream. Let's hope it goes through because I would like to get these buildings and try to get them all over the world. But I'm going to start where the place I live first and try to get these buildings all over the world. And maybe Facebook will grace me with more than 6 live stream cameras. Maybe. Who knows? And maybe, I can get more live stream cameras over here. Over here's a little more strict, but that is what it is. So, what are you going to do? But I'm going to go ahead and get off here because I got to charge the phone because go over to. I got to go over to them and I got to do a live stream and do more roses. And I'm going to come back over here because it seems to be I do better over here than there. I do have 6,000 followers, but sometimes I feel I have better luck over here with live streaming. So it's more like a video than anything over there. But I will see you guys in a little bit, and good night to everybody that's having a good night. And if I don't know if you felt your question wasn't horrible, put your question on my shorts and I will answer your question and replies and give you a reading. As long as it wasn't like, I don't know, a real negative question. Because I don't like doing negative readings. So, and I will see you later. I just got to go on Facebook and I'll jump on there and then I'll jump back here. And thank you for listening, and I appreciate everything. And if you subscribe to me, thank you so much. And the animals and humanity, thank you also. Because I'm just a friend of humanity. And have a good night.